Let's be honest, filing taxes in Bangladesh can feel like trying to solve a puzzle in the dark. But what if it didn't have to be so complicated? In this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you the straightforward, essential info you need to get your taxes filed correctly and on time. So, the big question is, do you actually need to file a tax return? You might be surprised by the answer. We're going to cover exactly who needs to file, what documents you have to have ready, and the deadlines you absolutely cannot afford to miss. All right, let's kick things off with the most fundamental question of all. Are you legally required to file a tax return? Let's break down the criteria so you know for sure. First up, let's clear up some of that official jargon. You're going to see this word assessee all over the place. It sounds super technical, but it's just the official government term for a taxpayer. So whenever you see assessee, just think, hey, that's me. The tax law, specifically Section 166, basically draws a line in the sand. On one side, you've got the conditions that make filing a must-do for most people earning an income. On the other, there are a few exemptions. We're going to focus on the triggers that mean you have to file. So here's the bottom line. It's not just about how much money you make. Sure, earning above the tax-free limit is the most obvious reason. But you also have to file if you've paid taxes any time in the last 3 years. Same deal if you're a company director. And here's a really crucial one. If you need to show proof that you filed for something, like getting a loan or a license, then filing is mandatory, no matter what your income is. Okay, so you've figured out that you need to file. What's next? Well, it's not just about filling out a single form. Your submission is more like a package of documents, and what you need to include really depends on your own financial picture. So your submission can have up to 3 main parts. Everybody who files has to do the main income tax return. But on top of that, a lot of people also need to provide a super detailed statement of their assets and a breakdown of their lifestyle expenses. Let's dig into who needs these extra forms. This is a big one, and it's all laid out in Section 167 of the tax law. This statement requires you to list out all of your assets and your liabilities, everything you own and everything you owe, both in Bangladesh and anywhere else in the world. So who exactly has to do this? A few different things can trigger this requirement. For example, if you own a car, you have to file one. Invested in property in a major city, you'll need to file one too. The rule also kicks in if you have any assets outside of Bangladesh or if you're a shareholder director in a company. But the most common reason is the total value of your assets, and that brings us to a really important update. And here it is, one of the biggest changes from the Finance Act 2024. The threshold for filing an asset statement has gone up. It used to be 40 lakh taka, but now you're only required to submit this statement if your gross wealth is more than 50 lakh taka at the end of the income year. That's 5 million taka. All right, let's talk about the final piece of this puzzle, the lifestyle expense statement. As per Section 168, this is the document where you detail how you spent your money all year. So do you need to worry about this one? The rules here are pretty cut and dry. If your annual income tops 5 lakh taka, that's 500,000 taka, you have to file a lifestyle statement. And you'll probably notice some overlap with the asset rules. Owning a car, being a company director, or having any income from a business also means you'll need to get this document ready. Now that we know who files and what to file, let's get into the when. Missing the deadline comes with some pretty serious financial consequences, so this is definitely a part you'll want to pay close attention to. Section 171 is crystal clear on this. Every taxpayer has to file their return on or before the official tax day. Simple enough, right? But what happens if you miss it? Well, the law has a very precise formula to calculate your penalty. Okay, I know, seeing a formula like this can feel a little intimidating. This is pulled directly from Section 174, and it's exactly how the tax authority figures out your penalty for filing late. But don't worry, it's not nearly as complicated as it looks. Let's break it down. Here's what all those letters actually mean. A is the final bill, the total amount you have to pay. B is the total tax you should have paid by tax day. C is any tax you might have already paid during the year, like from deductions at the source. And D is just the number of months you're late. So, after all that math, what does it really mean for you? It's simple. You're going to pay a 2% interest charge for every single month you're late. This penalty is only calculated on the part of your tax bill you haven't paid yet, which creates a really strong incentive to get it all filed and paid on time. We're almost there. You know what to file and when to file it, but there's one last crucial hurdle, making sure your return is actually considered complete and valid. A simple mistake here can end up being very costly. This is a question that honestly worries a lot of taxpayers. What happens if you forget to attach a document or you miss a signature? Well, the law is very, very clear about this, and the consequences are, let's just say they're severe. Yep, that language is pulled directly from Section 176 of the law, and it is serious. If you turn in an incomplete return and you don't fix it when you're told to, the government treats it as if you never filed at all. That means all your hard work was for nothing, and now you're facing penalties for not filing. So, what makes a return incomplete? According to Section 169, it could be anything from using the wrong form to just forgetting to sign it. But most importantly, if you were supposed to submit an asset or lifestyle statement and you didn't, your entire return is considered incomplete and could eventually become invalid. So, before you hit that submit button, just run through this one last mental checklist. Are you positive you need to file? Do you have every single statement your situation requires? And are you filing on time? Getting these three things right is the difference between a smooth tax season and a really expensive one.